Russia is using Orthodox Church as a weapon in the hybrid war, not only against Ukraine but also in Europe.
And if we watch the Kosovo dispute, it is very clear stated to us from Russia that Serbia should wait Russia to finish in Ukraine, and then the Kosovo dispute will be resolved.
We can see how it's similar situation with Ukraine and between Ukraine and Balkans.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center, an NGO Euro-Atlantic course. And I'm your host, Miroslava Yaremkiv. For decades, Russia has invested millions of dollars in expanding its influence on the territory of the Western Balkans. However, after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine began, there was a certain shift in the attitude of the population towards Russian narratives. In turn, the Kremlin only increased its pressure. This was especially noticeable in the spring of 2022 in Serbia. In order to undermine the value of the very idea of Europeanness, Russia often tries to use local narratives. In particular, an opinion is being actively promoted that makes Ukraine's European integration progress dependent on the entry of Western Balkan countries into the EU. In today's episode, our focus will be on the European integration of the Western Balkans amidst the influence of Russian propaganda, and we'll explore avenues through which Ukraine can pursue collaboration with the Balkans despite the interference from the Kremlin. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. For a long time, Ukraine's attention was focused on the USA, Great Britain and other allied EU countries. And because of this, the Balkan countries were somewhat overlooked, with their western region notably absent from Ukrainian media coverage. Yehor, Brailian, PhD and analyst at the Detector media, will elaborate on this and outline main Russian actors of propaganda in the Balkan region.
In my article, I outline the main Russian actors in Balkans. Those are 5 main actors. First of all, it's Orthodox Church. And Russia is using Orthodox Church as a weapon in the hybrid war, not only against Ukraine, but also in Europe. Secondly, media, and Russia is using their main propaganda media, such as Russia Today or Sputnik, for example, in Serbia. Yes, we know that the European Union blocked these channels after the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine in March 2022. However, they are still operating. The third Russian actor in Balkans is the Russian diaspora. And when we look back in the history, especially after the First World War, a lot of Russian military, for example, of White Army, they moved to the Balkan countries such as Bulgaria, Serbia, Greece, and they continued to work and live there, and that's why we have like the 5th Russian column in the Balkans. There were also 2 other Russian actors in the Balkans, but I would like to say that for us in Ukraine, the Balkan countries were actually forgotten, and we didn't mention about these countries, especially the countries in the Western Balkans, countries of former Yugoslavia, because we were focused mainly on the United States of America, the United Kingdom, France and Germany, due to their role in the negotiations in 2014-2021, the Minsk process and Normandy process. And so the Balkan region was actually at some point lost in the Ukrainian information policy, and it's a big problem. And we need to fill this gap. And what are the main Russian narratives in the Balkans? Well, first of all is the role of Russia in Yugoslavia was in the 1990s. So Russia always repeats that they helped Serbia when NATO was bombing them in the March of 1999. But at the same time, they forgot to mention that Ukraine also sent the military aid to Serbia. And that's why Russia is trying to instrumentalize history. Another historical narrative is connected to the role of the Russian Empire in the liberation of the Balkan countries from the Ottoman Empire in the 19th century.
The most dominant narrative about Russia in the context of the Kosovo issue is that Russia and Putin are defenders of Serbian interests, protecting Serbia from Western powers. In addition to supporting the UN Security Council resolution which guarantees Serbia's sovereignty over Kosovo, Russia is presented as a benevolent force and Putin as a father figure who brings moral and material support. More on Russia's role in the Kosovo crisis, please welcome national security and hybrid warfare expert at the Serbian Center for Strategic Analysis, Darko Obradovic.
If we want to speak about the Russian role and influence in Kosovo crisis, first of all, we should identify what is the broader Russian task for this region. And this is not the secret. Their task is to prevent Euro-Atlantic integration of whole region. Always they are using the NATO as a good excuse to oppose actually the European integrations. For them, stopping the European integration is equal to stop the NATO integration. So they do not care what arguments and what tools they will use to achieve this goal. And from the beginning, almost 30 years, they are strongly cultivating and investing in the inter-ethnic and inter-religious conflicts. The wars during the 19th are very good Russian leverage in this area. They use it often and very well still, and one of their priorities is to sustain the ethnic motivated tensions which existed in the 19th. They are, through their useful idiots, agents of influence and media campaigns, sustaining now. And actually they are in the very huge operation of reconstruction of the mindset of the people, especially Orthodox Serbs, because Russians using the Serbian Orthodox Church as their tool of influence, very strong one, which playing on the several fields, politics, media, and mouth-to-mouth actions. Actually, they are entering into the citizens and populations. And if we watch the Kosovo dispute, it is very clear stated to us from Russia that Serbia should wait Russia to finish in Ukraine, and then the Kosovo dispute will be resolved. That was told by notorious Maria Zakharova, that was told by a Russian ambassador in Belgrade in several occasions, And every time when somebody asks, let's say, Russian ambassador what they will do about the position of Serbs minority of Kosovo, he said, wait for us to finish in Ukraine, and then new age are coming, new geopolitical circumstances, and everything will be fine. Actually, we have in the last 8 months very active Russian public diplomacy, which is supported by the strategic communications from Moscow, but also they are developed on the ground by the agents of influence, mostly so-called experts, former military officials, and also some public officials of Serbia, which maintaining that narrative that Russia is still the geopolitical relevant player on the Western Balkans. In that sense, Russia using it very strong. Also, after the election on the 17th of December in Serbia, Russia supported more this narrative about evil West and evil Euro-Atlantic integration. Actually, they build up the story about Euromaidan, and unfortunately Serbian officials accepted this narrative, which came firstly from the Maria Zakharova, and then it was all noticed by all of us what happened next.
Russians want no European integration in the whole Balkan region and use any methods to achieve this. For 30 years, they have been heavily investing huge funds in this, intensifying interconfessional conflicts, trying to maintain ethnic tension, fueling it, pitting some citizens against others. The saddest thing is that the majority of the population do not understand that their emotions and vision of international relations are imposed on them by Russia, and that this is a geopolitical Russian game in the Balkans. More on this, please welcome political expert and president of PROI, Samir Ibisevic.
Me personally, being here in Kiev in the last 6-7 months, give me some more perspective of how important for Ukraine is to be more concerned with what's going on in Balkans. Especially after what's being said yesterday or the day before yesterday when Putin gave that interview to Tucker, and how we now analyze the Serbian influence and Serbian historical negation of Bosnia, Croatia, and of course Montenegro as a sovereign state. We can see how it's similar situation with Ukraine and between Ukraine and Balkans. Bosnia is constituted from 2 entities, and one of them is Republic of Srpska. And when describing Russia's impact on Bosnian media and society, a crucial focal point emerged, which is Bosnian entity name, Republic of Srpska. It stands as a bastion of complete Russian informational and political domination. It's, as I said, the evidence around that, it's very abundant, ranging from frequent meetings between Republika Srpska politicians and their Russian counterparts, and investors, of course, which are Russian investors who are present in Republika Srpska. But also we cannot forget President of Republika Srpska Dodik meetings with Putin, and new meetings were announced by the end of last year, but it didn't happen. But despite all sanctions, despite all let's say international pressure to Republic of Srpska, to Bosnia and Herzegovina, government of Republika Srpska doesn't breach any relationship with Russia. We still remember the famous case of Lavrov visit to Republika of Srpska, and Dodik, who gifted him with an icon stolen from the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine. And we remember that case. It was in years past, but it's also evident that Russia today announced its establishment of its office, or whatever it would be called, in Republika of Srpska, despite the fact that it's banned. Russia today is banned from Europe.
You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!